Hello, everyone. Today I'm really happy to be with Iain Lovatt, who is the chairman at BlueVenn here at Inbound Marketing France. Hi, Iain.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. So how long have you been doing data?
Oh, that's a long question. So it's been 30 years since I started looking at data and trying to understand how it could improve business performance. I mean, in those early days, there were no computers. It was just fundamentally, this doesn't seem to be working. And I worked in construction. And there we had people trying to price big projects. I mean, big housing projects or big bank projects. And we weren't winning all of the ones we bid for. So I was trying to look at what we bid, how much margin we put on, whether we won it or not, and then trying to get the resource to reflect the likelihood of us winning a job. And that's where I started. That's where I started doing data. It wasn't names and addresses. It was just types of work and margin. So everybody assumes data is a name and address, and it isn't. It's so much more than that.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you could give us one tip to senior marketing, what would it be?
Okay, I mean, senior marketeers have seen most of all this before. But fundamentally, what's changing now is technology is getting faster. There are more apps and there are more data sets becoming available. And what's happening is a piece of technology isn't going to resolve any issues for you. It's just going to make whatever you're doing faster and make the mistakes you make potentially bigger or more catastrophic. So I think the tip I would give any marketeer right now is to focus on the quality of the data that they've got. It's better to have a little less, but make sure it's right and it's fit for purpose. By fit for purpose, I mean something that's, if you're going to phone people, you're going to make telephone calls to people, you want the telephone numbers to be right. You might have the right name, you might have the right company, but if the telephone number's wrong, you can't talk to anybody.
Absolutely.
So I think data quality, focus on data, focus on its quality, and then focus on making sure you keep as much data as you can in tip-top condition. It's not difficult, it's time-consuming, and it can be expensive, but it isn't a difficult thing to achieve.
And it's very important. It's the basis of your strategy.
Well, I mean, you have the same issues throughout the world. Is if you spell names incorrectly, if you call people and your accent is slightly wrong and you pronounce their names wrong, it upsets people.
Yeah, it does.
So if you don't do it right, you don't keep the quality, then you do cause upsets that weren't intended. But that's the consequence of maybe not paying enough attention to data and maybe too much attention to technology.
Yeah.
Because technology won't resolve anything. It'll just exaggerate what you've got. It'll make it worse and more noticeable.
Okay. So what are BlueVenn's plans for France?
Wow. Well, France is a beautiful country. As I said in my presentation, I love France. And I've been coming to France for 30 plus years. And France is a country that, needs for us as an organisation to find a good partner, and Avanci are that partner, to support Avanci in promoting a CDP into the French market, French-speaking market, and to support them in educating the market to the benefits of a CDP, as well as helping them understand some of the pitfalls that can be there so they can avoid what we've experienced in the UK and what experiences there are in the USA. So our plan in France is to, support, educate, and, help drive the market for CDPs and good data quality in France.
Okay. So why did you choose to work with Avanci and MV Group as a partner in France?
Avanci have been a partner for some of our software for a number of years, but we haven't really had a strong relationship with them over the last sort of 3 years. We've been working with them. France hasn't really been developing forward into the CDP space that we have, so the relationship's been I wouldn't say it's not strained, it just hasn't been detailed. And now Avanci, with their appreciation of data, and they are data specialists, they are starting to look at CDPs and we're starting to look to expand outside of the UK, back into Europe and beyond. So our plans with France and Avanci are to continue to grow and develop the relationship and make it stronger, which is why I've been here today, which is why the team are here, and why we're investing with them in the market.
All right. Well, I think it's a great
Thank
idea.
you. Thank you very much.
So what differences do you see in the French market compared to the US and the UK?
Yeah, that's another great question. So the French market is the same. There's not a lot of difference. It's probably a little time behind the UK and the USA. And I'd say the UK is a fairly earlier adopter of technology. It likes to try and get a little advantage by being at the front end, take the pain of not succeeding and falling flat on our faces as we all do when we take the lead. The States is a very quick adopter.
Yeah.
It'll try things, it'll throw them away, it'll decide it doesn't work and dismiss them. England's or the UK is an adopter and will try. France, I wouldn't say, would be more considered. So it just spends a little bit more time thinking about it, tries to make the right decision. And so, the difference really is just a timeline. But the issues we've had in the UK are appearing the same in France. So we're going to have the same issues of people underestimating what a CDP does, trying to compare it with a DMP, a data marketing platform, or a data warehouse, which are different. This is purely for marketeers. It enables them to be in control of their own future and to be in control of the data that matters to marketeers to generate sales leads. So if I was looking at France, the UK, and the USA, I would just say it's a point on a timeline.
Yeah.
And the issues are going to be the same because the technologies are very similar. The need and the changes that are happening with digital marketing are very similar. Yeah. So it's just going to be a timeline of the France will catch up and hopefully get an advantage because they'll learn from the mistakes that maybe happened in the UK and the USA.
I can see that. Thank you so much for the time you've given us.
No, that's a pleasure.
And
it's
thanks
really
you again
nice
for
to be
being here.
As I said, I love France.